Welcome back to Crime Time Podcast. Y'all see what it is, man. Some shocking, horrific news in the state of Connecticut. It went all the way up to a state senator voicing his displeasure and protest of what some are referencing as the Black Jeffrey Dahmer being freed. Back in 2013, this man was arrested for some gruesome murders in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Tyree Lincoln Smith, and there's some parallels between his crime and Dahmer's crime. Obviously, he didn't have the reign of terror that Jeffrey Dahmer did going over years. This guy seemingly only killed once, but he was into cannibalism and a lot of other sick, twisted, actual ish, talking about bloodlust and just disgusting ish, no question. Here's a clip from back when he was first arrested in 2013.
Bridgeport. The day before police said Tyree Lincoln Smith hacked to death a homeless man in an East Side apartment and then cannibalized the body, he told his cousin he had a lust for blood. He said he had gotten a rare steak at a restaurant in Florida, and when he had tasted the blood, it had given him a sexual sensation, recalled Nickel Rabb, who helped police get a confession from Smith to the crime. Police said Smith killed 43-year-old Angel Tun Tun Gonzalez with an axe on December 15th. On Tuesday night, the 35-year-old Smith, who grew up in Ansonia, was arrested at a friend's home in Lynn Haven, Florida, and charged with murder in Gonzalez's death. He is being held in lieu of $1 million bond pending extradition to Connecticut. Rabb, who grew up with Smith, has been acknowledged by police as their main witness against her cousin. In an interview with the Connecticut Post, she lamented that she didn't act immediately to stop her cousin hours before the death of Gonzalez after he told her he was going to kill someone. But she explained at the time she didn't think what he was threatening was anything but crazy rantings she was used to hearing from him. "Who the hell would think you could be related to someone like this?" she said. "I mean, I've heard of Hannibal Lecter, but I never thought I could have someone in my family who would actually eat someone." Rabb said she blames police for not acting faster after she said family members informed them Smith had confessed to killing someone in the Brook Street apartment. Police told Smith's mother they just couldn't go into the Brook Street apartment building to look for a body, she related. Police didn't immediately return calls for comment on Rabb's assertions. Gonzalez's body was found Friday in a vacant third-floor apartment on Brook Street. Police said he was found lying across a mattress, fully clothed with severe facial and head injuries. An autopsy determined Gonzalez died from blunt head trauma. After graduating from Ansonia High School, where he played football in the early 1990s, Smith moved to California, where he got into modeling, Rabb said. She said his photograph was featured on several billboard advertisements. Prior to that, she said her cousin had been treated for psychiatric problems. He said he was hearing voices. Rabb said, "One time, the voices told him to get out of bed in the middle of a snowstorm and walk barefoot across town." He spent several months in a hospital. While other family members kept their distance from Smith, Rabb said she remained close. "We had grown up like brother and sister," she said. On December 15th, Rabb said Smith showed up at her Seaview Avenue apartment, carrying a large book bag and appearing out of sorts. She said he was drinking from a bottle of sake and showed her a small axe that he pulled out of the bag. He was talking about a book he was writing that was all about murder and rape and about Greek gods, she continued. She said she became concerned when Smith began talking about needing blood and being on a mission to get blood. She said he told her he was going to Beardsley Park and later intended to camp out on the porch of their old home on Brook Street, where Gonzalez's body was later found. But later that night, Smith was back, banging on her apartment door, complaining that he had blood all over him. She said she refused to let him in, and he eventually went away. He returned the next evening. Rabb said this time she let him in only to see that Smith had blood all over his jeans. There was also blood on the small axe he was carrying. She said he took a bath in her apartment and then stuffed his bloody clothing into a plastic bag. Then, sitting down at the dinner table with Rabb and her 2 young sons, she said he announced, "I got my blood." Rabb said Smith related how he had gone to Beardsley Park looking for victims but didn't find anyone there. He complained that Bridgeport wasn't the same city anymore, where people went to the park at night, she said. But Smith had gone to the Brook Street house, where a kindly Gonzalez, concerned that Smith would suffer from the cold if he slept outside, invited him to share the vacant apartment where Gonzalez was squatting. A voice told him, "This is your blood," Rab said Smith later told her. She said he then told her he then ate pieces of Gonzalez's brain and an eyeball as he stood over Rab's brother's grave at Lakeview Cemetery, washing it down with the sake. He said the rush he got from doing that was something he had never experienced before, she said. Rab said she kicked her cousin out of her apartment and called his mother and told her what Smith had said. Meanwhile, the book bag with the bloody axe remained in her apartment. When she looked in the bag, she saw it also contained a roll of duct tape, a rope, and a list of names, including those of Smith's mother, father, and sister. Rab said she eventually gave the bag back to Smith in an effort to keep him away. After news broke that Gonzalez's body had been found, Rab said she went to police and told them what Smith had related to her. She said police then had her call Smith, who by that time was back in Florida, and try to get him to confess to Gonzalez's death. In the phone call, which Rab said was recorded by police, she said Smith confessed to the murder, but then became concerned that she was talking to police and tried to retract his confession. Smith has prior misdemeanor convictions in Connecticut, but has never served prison time here. In 2004, he pleaded guilty to interfering with an officer and second-degree breach of peace in New Haven. In 2005, he was convicted of interfering with an officer. Bridgeport Police Captain James Valladero said it appears that Smith has only a minimal criminal record around the country. He said at this point they have no information that he was treated for mental illness. At this point, it is still very much an open investigation, he added. On Wednesday, Odalys Vasquez greeted the news that a suspect was under arrest for her stepfather's slaying somberly. "All I want now is justice," the 25-year-old Vasquez said. "Here it is that my dad was trying to help this guy, telling him to come inside from the cold. If my father was helping him stay warm, what kind of person is it who does this, who repays him by swinging an axe at him and hitting him so hard it blows his brains out?"
So you guys hear that twisted story there, man. I can't believe the family member, the cousin, she hesitated on going to law enforcement and at one point gave this guy his bag containing a hatchet, the bloody clothes, the list of names, including family members and stuff like that. She gave it back to him and sent him on his way. She didn't want to believe that she could be related to the Black Dahmer, a twisted, psychopathic son of a bitch. People don't hesitate. You know what I mean? You know someone and they're talking some crazy ish, so often. Like, I'm not mocking mental illness at all. I've experienced some mental struggles myself throughout my life. You know what I mean? Nothing like this twisted ish or whatever, but I know some crazy motherfuckers. And sometimes, and I'm talking about right within my immediate family, hearing voices and things like that. And very often people, push that off as, oh, it's just crazy talk. They're just running their mouth, man. But listen, if you get the inkling that it could be true, you got to do something. You got to act. You know what I mean? Her hesitation could have resulted in more deaths, just like in this previous case that I'm going to put a link in the comments. I want you guys to check out. There was a woman that had to go on a vigilante mission to solve her own father's murder, and police didn't want to listen to her. You know what I mean? They hesitated, and because they hesitated and dropped the ball, someone else was hurt. Lives were lost. You know what I'm saying? The difference between life and death can be hesitation. And also, if you're out in a public park and some creepy flucker is approaching you or seemingly staking you out from afar, from close, whatever, get the fuck up on out of there, man. Real talk. You seen this dude was going out in the park just trying to find himself a victim, and the fact that the rare steak or whatever gave him this weird actual feeling, and it just set him on these Jeffrey Dahmer like missions, man. Seriously, like, tap in and let me know if you agree that he is indeed the Black Dahmer. Just stopped before he could carry on more killings. And also comment your thoughts about Jeffrey Dahmer being racist, right? There's no question that Dahmer being in the inner city, racist police, and just the way society was and is in some instances still to this day, played a big factor in Dahmer being able to continue to carry out the just disgusting, disturbing crimes in which he did. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of stuff from that Netflix series that was accurate. That one woman complaining to police officers, and there's other things about that woman that people have brought out that weren't portrayed in the series. But listen, that don't matter. She might have had drug addiction and stuff like that. We're not talking about that. Stop being judgmental. We're talking about an evil, twisted, sick son of a bitch who killed and ate people and was a pedo as well. Just pure evil, burning in hell. But back to what I was saying, comment and let me know if you think that Dahmer did that intentionally, like moved to the hood for that exact purpose, or it just happened to be that way and he didn't realize it, because that's something that has been talked about numerous times. And in that series, they showed that where, a black detective mentioned that to Dahmer, and Dahmer kind of like had this, like, what? You know what I mean? But he didn't realize it. I don't know if you believe that to be true or what. Jump in the comments. Let's discuss it all. Make sure to subscribe, hit the buttons if you're new over here. That's what it's all about, talking these true crime stories up with you guys, the good people of the blogosphere. But this is fucking crazy. Back to talking about Tyre Lincoln Smith. In 2013, he was deemed not guilty by reason of insanity. In that video that I put a link for in the comments below, make sure to check it out. I was just referencing it. That's something else that was brought up in that video, is there's often a confusion when it comes to people being found not guilty by the reason of insanity. What the fuck am I talking about? Not guilty by the reason of insanity, or not competent to stand trial. If someone is found not competent to stand trial, there is no trial. They don't move forth with it. They're like, this person is just not competent. They're not here. They need to be put into a mental facility. And as you see in this instance, when someone is found, like the jury in court says this person is not guilty by the reason of insanity, they're also put in a mental facility. And this individual, as you see, Tyre Smith, was ordered confined to Whiting Forensic Hospital for 60 years in 2013 in connection with the killing of Angel Gonzalez, whose mutilated body was found in a vacant apartment in Bridgeport in 2012, a month after he was hacked to death. So on top of being like the Black Dahmer, it seems like this guy had juggalo tendencies as well, carrying out real life hatchet man like action, just killing. It's so bonkers. Could you guys believe too, he told his cousin, man, this city ain't like what it used to be. No one goes to the park anymore, while he was trolling the park looking for someone to kill. Fucking just sick, man. In 2012, a month after he was hacked to death, Smith's cousin had testified that Smith told her he ate part of Gonzalez's brain and an eyeball while drinking sake. You guys remember Cameron said drink a sake on a Suzuki? Well, this guy got his Dahmer on while drinking sake. Ain't that like Japanese or Asian rice wine that people say get you twisted and lifted? Comment if you ever drank some sake. Is it a different kind of buzz or what? In this instance, this crazy Black Dahmer thought that it, I guess, complemented cannibalistic endeavors. Fucking just, I can't believe it. But after this time, again, ordered 60 years, the state psychiatric security review board granted him this conditional release from a hospital on Friday after they had a hearing from a psychiatrist, and they're saying his schizophrenia and alcohol and drug disorders were in full remission as a result of medication and other treatment. Now, like we already said, there was a senator that got involved protesting this decision, and the sister-in-law of Angel Gonzalez tried to speak out as well at this hearing. I don't know if she actually went to the hearing or not, but she was saying she's worried and believes that this guy could just be playing an act. You know what I mean? That this bastard ain't in remission. This ain't cancer that's in remission, and this possible remission ain't a good thing. Don't release this guy. I think he's playing. I think he's evolved in trying to hide his mental illness, but nonetheless, they released him. And this means he will be placed in a community setting, but under supervision with strict conditions, including continuing treatment. He's already been staying at a full-time community facility with around-the-clock supervision for the past 9 months, with Friday's decision formally discharging him from the hospital, officials said. So if you peep that, this has already been going on for months. Now it's just 100% official. I don't know if this community facility that he was in was locked down or not, but now it seems he's going to be able to go out and venture into the world. And they say it's strict. He's got to carry on his treatment and take his meds and all that. But how strict is it? What are your thoughts about this? During the hearing, oh yeah, as I said about Talitha Frazier, that's Gonzalez's sister-in-law, the victim. She said, how do we really know he's not going to do this again? And the state senator that we spoke of was Heather Summers. Oh, more than one. I'm sorry. Paul Cicarella and who else? State Senators Heather Summers, Paul Cicarella, Henry Martin, and Stephen Harding called the decision outrageous and mind-boggling in a statement Friday afternoon. Quote, this terrible decision puts public safety in jeopardy and is yet another terrible message to send to Connecticut violent crime victims and their families. This person should never be out, the Republican lawmaker said. Smith attended the hearing virtually with his lawyer, but was not shown on video screens because of safety concerns stemming from media coverage, his lawyer said. Ain't that crazy? They're protecting this bastard's safety. I don't know, and that's another thing. Again, go check out this video that we got linked in the comments. Again, different type crime story, but there were some parallels we were speaking of. But, that woman went on a vigilante mission to solve her father's crime. She was killed by a basehead prostitute ex-worker and had all the info, everything on how to solve this crime, and the police didn't want to listen. What do you guys think of the possibility of some people getting together, like one person or multiple people, saying, hey, did you guys see this? Did you hear this? You know what I mean? They're releasing the Black Dahmer into the community, and everyone's protesting this, and they went ahead and did it. 60 years is how long they ordered this Black Dahmer to be held in a psychiatric facility, forensic psychiatric facility, and he's out in 12? I don't know. Could and would people in the community get together and go on their own vigilante mission? I don't know. I'm not advocating that or saying to do that, but I don't know, man. I'm always an advocate for weirdos to get ran up out of the community, them 6 sacks of ish, you know what I mean? Like ex-offenders and all that. And this individual is a weirdo in his own way, evil Black Dahmer, you know what I mean? It's fucking nuts. It's twisted. It's crazy to think in just 12 years, he's free. Had he not been found guilty by reason of insanity, this bastard would never been free, but here he is. Will he be out getting together another Hatchet Man Dahmer kit or what? Jump in the comments, share your thoughts below, subscribe, and stay tuned for more true crime content over here on Crime Time Podcast. I'm up out of here.